Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, now we have the Excel file available. Now we need to read the data from the Excel file and use it in our test code. So now we have the login.xls file, and to read the data from the Excel file, we need to create a utility. However, we created a utility file to read the data from the properties file. Similar way, we have to create a utility to read the data from the Excel file. Okay, let's name it as Excel util. If you want to read the data from the Excel file, Java does not have any direct mechanism to read the data from the Excel file. We need to depending on third-party libraries. Okay, third-party jar files. Like to read the data from the properties file, we have a properties class in Java. Similarly, to read the data from the Excel file in Java, we don't have any availability. We need to depending on the third-party libraries. So that is called Apache PY libraries. These libraries are used for working with the Excel file, either to read or write. We need to add corresponding dependency jars. And also these are the two jars which are required.
What is the difference between those two jars?
And there is no difference. These two jars are mandatory to work with the Excel files.
Okay.
Okay. Now, why there is errors here? Okay, we'll see that later. So we added two jars, right? Let's see whether those are added or not. Apache POI, okay, those two are added, fine. Okay, and let's work on the utility, Excel utility. Let's take a constructor.
Ravi, Sudhir, for
Yeah,
every utilities, you have to add this jar, like if you want to work with the .csv file, .xml, or anything like that,
no, no,
like PDF.
this is only for Excel.
Okay. No, if you want to work with PDF also, you have to add the same utility.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So, yeah. First of all, we need to make sure that okay, these that support is not there in Java. If that is not there in Java directly, we have to depending on other third-party libraries.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm taking two parameters. One is file path, that is Excel file path, and index. Okay. The index is nothing but sheet index, right?
The
Okay.
page numbers, like, right?
Yeah. No, no. Those are sheet. Okay. So in Excel file, this is called the entire workbook.
Yeah, yeah.
Called the workbook. Okay. In the workbook, you can have number of sheets.
Yeah.
You have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. You have 3 sheets, right? Okay. So in this entire workbook, which sheet you are trying to read? Okay, that is nothing but index. Okay, sheet 1 is nothing but 0 index, sheet 2 is nothing but first index, sheet 3 is nothing but second index, starting from 0 index. Okay, so we need to specify which file, which Excel file you are trying to read. Okay, and what index, what sheet index. Now create an object for workbook.
So there can we use a sheet name instead of index?
We can also use sheet name. Yeah, that is also possible. So
Okay.
when you are creating an object for the workbook, yeah, we need to specify that workbook and sheet. So whenever there is an input stream, we need to create file input stream object. Now we got the workbook object. From the workbook, you can get the sheet. There are two things here. Okay, one is get sheet, where you have to pass the sheet name. I am taking get sheet at where I have to pass the index. So if the index is 0, you'll get the sheet 1 object. If the index is 1, so depending on which index you are passing, the corresponding sheet you would be getting. Okay, you need to handle the exception. Let's showing checked exceptions. Let's handle the exception. Okay, so now we have object for workbook and we have object for sheet. Okay, So let's try to implement the methods. So first of all, we need to know how many number of rows are there in the given sheet. Depending on that, we can continue our for loop in our test code. Get last row number gives you the count of rows. And we need one more method, get cell value. Okay, so if I want to get a cell value, I need to know which row it is and which column it is. Okay, can somebody tell me what is the row and column for this number, for this cell value? Row and column both starts from the index 0.
0, 2.
Third row, first
Row is
0.
what? One second. Row is what?
Row is 3. Column is 0, 1, 2. 2, 0.
Column is 0. Okay.
Yeah.
This
So
is-
first is row is 2, and column is 0. Column
Yeah.
is 0. Row is 0.
Yeah, basically row is 3 actually, starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Even including headers. Okay. Now tell me
Sure.
what is the row and column for this one?
2, 1.
2, 1. Yeah. Okay. So with the help of row and column only, we can able to get the cell value. So first of all, get row. Okay. First we have to get the row. This is the row. Let's say if assume let's say row and column. Okay. So I'm passing row is 1 and column is 1. Okay. First get the row. Get the row. So once you get the row, now you got the row. For example, you got the row. Let's say this one, you got the row 0, 1, 2. You got this row. Okay. When you got this row, if you want to read the value, actual value, you are in this row and you need to know column. Okay. If column is 1, you will get user does not exist. If column is 0, you get HGK, although that particular cell. Row dot get cell. You part of pass the column number. Cell is an object and you need to get the string value. Okay. Probably you can do the trim so that if there is any don't do the trim. Let's say if you are trying to test with special white spaces, then those will be trimmed. Okay, fine. So now our utility is ready. Go to the login test. First of all, create an object for Excel util. Excel util is taking two arguments. One is file path, which we know, that is /src test resources and then login.xls. Okay, and the index, we have written the data in first index only, so 0. Number of rows, get number of rows. Okay, so these many times we need to repeat our loop. To get the username, get cell value. Okay, so row is I and column is, username is always in the 0th column. Username is always in the 0th column, right? And and coming to the row, so first 0th row, which we don't need. Zeroth row we don't need. It's just a header we don't need. Okay. So first row, second row, third row. Okay. Row is keep on changing. First row, second row, third row. Okay. Row is keep on changing. When it comes to username is always in the zeroth row, zeroth column, and the error message is always in the first column. Okay. So what we are doing is we are making row as I. Okay. And column as 0 for username. And similarly for error message, row is I, column is, to get the error message you have to use the column number 1. Okay. So if you see this code, so initially I is equal to 1. Okay. So what happened? 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1. Okay. So that is in the first loop. In the second loop, what happened? 2 comma 0, 2 comma 1. In the third loop, what happens? 3 comma 0, 3 comma 1. Okay. 1 comma 0 is username, 1 comma 1 is error message. 2 comma 0 is username, 2 comma 1 is error message. 3 comma 0 is username, and 3 comma 1 is error message. Right. So that's how it happens. And that's the reason we have to take row as I, which will be keep repeating. You get the username and then expected error message, click on login. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's also print the number of rows. So sometimes what happens is these usernames, I mean these columns also, sorry, these rows also will be considered. Okay, so let's better remove these rows. Okay, unnecessary rows. Remove this. Don't keep any empty rows, which might create some problem.
But
Even column also should be removed.
Column is okay.
if you are
Column, we specifically telling 0 comma 1. There won't be any problem.
Yeah, so if we have 100 columns, so yeah, I have to loop, or how is it going to do that? Have to use 100, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3,
No,
99?
no, it's about rows. The loop depends on number of rows, not on columns.
No, I'm talking about here. I agree. Some records, like we get multi-million records, right? There are 100 columns and some million rows. So how to test that part?
Same thing only. You have to pass the row and column.
Column matter fixed, like fixed columns, like 0, 1, 2, 9.
Yes, yes. Columns will be fixed. Columns will be fixed.
Sudhir, in Excel, we cannot delete the unused row. So what will you do there?
You don't require to delete it. Okay, so on the safe side, I'm deleting it here in the Mac.
No, what happens is even if you click on those rows, Excel term them as used rows.
Yeah, so you have to careful of that. You have to remove unused rows.
I think we can use if conditions in the for loop. If not equal to 0 or not equal to empty for row.
Something, yeah. If at all you see such kind of problems, either you delete unused rows, okay, like what I have done, okay, or you make a logic. If username and error message both are empty, then terminate your for loop.
Okay.
Something like that. Okay. So that's about. I'll run this code. Okay. So that is one thing, and to see, it's okay. Okay, now I'll talk about Jenkins. So any questions here? I haven't run this code. I'll run this code. Okay. So let me implement Jenkins and I'll run this. Between any questions?
Data. Yeah, data driven is like nothing but like in a file they have data. So driving the data, right? That is data driven object.
Yes.
Any object which is having data in that.
You are asking about what is data driven?
Yes.
What is data driven?
Like means it's driven by data. We have any data, driven data in Excel file. You have some data, right? Records in a file. You take any file, .csv file, Excel file, which have some data in that. The object which is having data, that's nothing but data driven.
So basically, when there are multiple tests having the same test instructions, and the only difference is the data, then we have to apply data driven concept.
So there, did you use page factory init elements method?
Pardon?
A page factory has init method, right? Init elements.
We have not using page factory. Rather, we used object repository.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use page factory or object repository. Anything is okay.
Oh, either one.
Yeah. I prefer to use this one, but anything is okay. You have to use either one, not both.
So if I use page factory, then
This is not
what can we find the elements in the same
page
class,
itself.
right?
Page itself. Yeah.
Page itself instead of properties.
Yes, that is also fine.
Okay.
I generally prefer to go with this one. Anything is okay.
What is page factory, Sudhir?
Yeah, probably you can Google it. Prasanthi. Something similar to object repository.
Okay.
Where
Any
we
difference?
define. No, we define the locators inside the Java code itself.
Okay.
That's the only difference. Okay. So here we define the locators inside the properties file. There we define the locators inside the page itself, inside the page class itself. Okay, I'm going to talk about Jenkins now. I have muted all of you, and so if you have any questions, please put me a chat message. I'll be unmuting you. Okay. Fine.